30 teams, 30 X Factors, 30 minutes. Let's go.
Ready, we ready, we ready for ya.
Alright, first team is the Atlanta Hawks, and with the Atlanta Hawks, I went with Kristaps Porzingis. For me, this is just John Collins on steroids. A second option who can take attention away from Trae Young, can really shoot the three ball really well, and provide adequate rim protection along with Onyeka Okongwu. And then you still have that beautiful just squad of just close to one, like maybe two or three like legitimate all NBA defense type of wings, and you have like just players who can contribute at the highest level. So I love this team, and if Kristaps Porzingis can be healthy, he's going to be this team's going to be so good. They have definitely potential Eastern Conference Finals or Finals at least. Alright. Next team we have the OKC Thunder. OKC Thunder, we are going to go X factor for them is patience. Literally just patience. They're coming off the championship. There's going to be a bit of a slump. They're going to lose a bit more games just simply because you can't go 69, 70 games, or how many games they won last season. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Just come in. Patience for me is for people like J-Dub. Keep developing it. These guys are still under 25. So literally just keep developing his game. Shea, genuinely, Shea. So Shea's going to be good. But just keep developing J-Dub, Chet, Nikola Topic. Just keep developing their games, and that's all you need to do for me. That's how I feel. That's all I think, that patience is the most important thing for them right now. The next team is the Portland Trail Blazers, and with the Trail Blazers, the X factor for them is Toumani Camara. And the reason I chose Toumani Camara is because I think that his ceiling is actually really high. And for someone who only came into the season 1 or 2 seasons ago, for him to already be an all NBA defensive second team player, and to have comparisons to people like Scottie Pippen, I think that his ceiling, if he can develop, the three is always going to be the thing which unlocks a lot of these players. But for him to be that and to be like a point of attack defender on this team, he can really raise the championship ceiling for this team, with having Klingon and Dame coming back and Drew Holiday and literally this team can be really good if he continues to develop his game already with where his defensive stuff is already. Next team we have the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets, I went to Jordi Fernandez. I think that when you have a team which has already brought 5 first-round picks in, the coach's role for me goes above any player. You need to be able to develop good habits in these players. They're coming into the NBA for the first time. Most of them are they probably most of them have never been in this environment. They don't know what to expect. So to have Jordi Fernandez, I believe he's the X factor in terms of developing these players and growing them and just teaching them the ropes and those little things that they can do. And obviously having a player like MBJ, I think, also helps as well, just to take the offensive load away from them. But Jordi Fernandez, for me, this is going to be his season to develop these players, and hopefully just if you look back at the end of the year, you're like, these players have grown. Growth is the name of the game for the Brooklyn Nets, and that's why I chose Jordi Fernandez. Next team, we have the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets, I went with Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson is the link between this team having championship aspirations. I think he's the one who can unlock it. KD is phenomenal, but I think Amen Thompson gives his team a different feel in terms of defensively, and also as an attacker who can get to the rim and who can pressure teams in a way that KD can't, obviously at an old age, which is not obviously nothing on him. He's still a great player, but just he can bring a different flavor to this team that if he can really thrive in that role, is going to be phenomenal. And obviously just growing his game, playmaking and things like that, and just keeping a defensive menace, keep putting pressure on the rim. That's literally all you need to do. And also how to handle defenses in the playoffs, because I think this team is not worried about the regular season, but the playoffs is where Amen Thompson is really going to have to hone his game in. So I can't wait to see that as well. Alright, next team we have who do we have next? Next team we have the Toronto Raptors. And with the Raptors we have Emmanuel Quickly. I went with Emmanuel Quickly because his role as someone who can play on ball but off ball And particularly, I'm thinking about him from his time in the Knicks, where he had to play with a point and someone a high ball usage point guard like Jalen Brunson, and with his team having Bi, Scotty Barnes, and RJ. Emmanuel Quickly's role as someone who can play with them and allow them to play their game and just be that player to come and maybe shoot a couple of threes to put pressure on the rim when they kick it out to him, or those things like that. Someone who can just be a serviceable point guard for this team. Even though the ball will be in those other players' hands, I think he can be a really nice piece for this team. And I mean, they paid him a lot of money, so clearly he has to. I'm assuming they paid him to that much money to be the point guard for this team. And I think his skill as someone who can be, who can play off ball is going to be really high. And I think if he can continue just hone in on that and just be a really good serviceable piece to join them, I think the stock for the rest of the team will just rise along with like everyone else. Alright, next team we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies, the X factor for them is Ja Morant. This team goes wherever Ja Morant goes, and for too long I feel like, how do I say this? Ja Morant needs to pop out and show niggas, basically. That's literally it. Simple and plain. Bro, he needs to come out this season and just target it. All NBA, 25 points, 8 assists. This nigga needs to go crazy. Now, it's just simple and plain. Like, I feel like this team used to be on par with OKC, and obviously OKC is so much better, but this team, there's a part of me that really believes that this team can, if they are playing at their best. I know Desmond Bain is gone and all of that, but Ja Morant is that guy. Ja Morant is that guy. So I believe in Ja Morant, and I hope that he can just come out and really just remind people who he is, honestly. That's what happens. That's it. Just remind people who he is. Next team is the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, I went with Miles Turner. There's no one else you can go with here. And I think that if you're going to give up or do what the Bucks did in terms of waiving and stretching Damian Lillard and bringing him in, you need Miles Turner to show up and like career highs and kind of take that 2021 what's the guy's name, Brook Lopez role, in terms of just being him, and Giannis need to just be that no-fly zone at the back of the thing. Just be a no-fly zone, be blocking, defending, bro. And just be a 3-point threat. Just literally you need Miles Turner to literally just be as offensively impactful and to be defensively efficient. Like just that's what you need to kind of like justify what they did, basically. Next team we have the LA Lakers, and with the Lakers I went with DeAndre Ayton. I went with DeAndre Ayton because the Lakers didn't have a center, and DeAndre Ayton has the opportunity for this next 2 years, which is under contract, to really just take that role for himself. Like literally grab that and be like, yo, I'm the starting 5 moving forward, because you already have Luke, who's going to be incredible, LeBron, who's going to be incredible, JJ Redick, who's a good coach. Literally, this is a player who was a 2020, who's an NBA finalist. He has that potential. He has shown that he can be that. And so you don't lose that. Obviously, his career has gone a bit off track, but I think that with the players around him, he's in a really good environment to literally show up and show that he still has those capabilities. Next team, we have the Detroit Pistons. And with the Pistons, I went with Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey, before he got injured, was on course for career high in points, assists, and I think it was 3-point shooting or something like that. And I think that with Dennis Schroeder gone, I think that he can really come in and take that role and really thrive in it, because Jaden Ivey is a really good player, and he can be that scoring punch, he can be that playmaking, just give that different flavor to this team. And just help Cade as he's building to try and take that pressure away from him, especially in those critical moments in the playoffs where I think his value will really shine. Next, we have the San Antonio Spurs. With the Spurs, I went with Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell, I chose him as the X factor for 2 reasons, and why is because it's on court and off court. I think this is a very critical year for Devin Vassell. I think that this is a year that I could easily see them trading him away. But I could also see him showing this front office and the team why they need him. I think Devin Vassell is one of the best scorers on this team. I think that he can really do really well in terms of just fitting in that backcourt nucleus with what's his name, De'Aaron Fox, and obviously they still have Carter Bryant and who's the other guy? I forgot the other guy's name, but they have those rookies. But I think that Devin Vassell has a really important role that he can play with his skill set, and I think he needs to show that, or he might be moved. And so this is an X factor in two ways, where he might be a good trade asset, or he could be someone who just solidifies his place in the team and takes away minutes from the other rookies or the other backcourt players on the field. Next we have the Boston Celtics. With the Boston Celtics, I went with Luka Garza. And the reason why I went with him is because over like Peyton Pritchard or the other guards is because Luka Garza has the opportunity, like DeAndre Ayton, to kind of take that center role, and not even center, but take that rotation minutes role as a center. I think that he was literally he was a MVP in those garbage minutes for Minnesota. So with the Celtics, he's gonna have opportunity, and he needs to take that. Honestly, threes, showing that he can provide solid minutes when Jason Tatum comes back and this team is serious. He has to be able to show them that, just give them something to be like, oh, we should keep him. He can play maybe give you that 7 to 12 minutes when this team is actually trying to win. So Luka Garza is why I chose this team as the X factor for them. Alright, next team we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. I hope that's not too loud. Next team we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, and with the Timberwolves, I went with Terrence Shannon Jr. as the X factor for this team. And I think a big reason for that is because I'm just following what the Timberwolves did, and for them allowing Nickeil Alexander-Walker to walk, I think it's because they really believe in Terrence Shannon Jr. and the step that he's about to take this next season. I think you did see that in him coming into some of the games and shining a little bit and just showing that his potential that in those few minutes that he got, and obviously across the whole season. This is a player who actually the Timberwolves are very excited about, and I'm also excited about him too. So Terrence Shannon Jr. if he can just hit in terms of him, Rob Dillingham, Anthony Edwards obviously at the star, and then you have Jaden McDaniels, and now you have like pieces like what's his name, Randall and Rudy. Literally, that's such a beautiful core right there. So yeah, and then next we have who do we have next? Next we have the Phoenix Suns. No. Next we have the Philadelphia 76ers. And with the Philadelphia 76ers, we have Joel Embiid, quite frankly. I think until Joel Embiid retires, or hopefully he doesn't go out with an injury, he is always going to be the player that this team looks at as like, if he's not healthy, we're not doing anything. So Joel Embiid is always going to be the X factor. Is he healthy enough? Is he not? Is his knee good? Is his general health okay? Because he has quite a number of injuries. So yeah, I think if he can come into the season healthy and remain at least healthy for a lot of it, this team is going to do really well. And postseason, we'll see what happens. But as long as he gets to the regular season healthy, I think that'll be a win for this team. Yeah, especially with Paul George and everyone, they just need him to get through the season. Honestly, literally, just get into the season. That's all they need. Next team, Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns, I went to Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks is the perfect player for this team, because I think he brings the right amount of shithousery in terms of being able to just bring that defensive intensity. And for a team which is really young and has players like Ryan Dunn and Maluach and Mark Williams and Gillespie and all of those guys, you need Dillon Brooks. You kind of like baptize them in that like that intensity that it brings, and that like, I don't give a fuck about anything. I'm coming to take anyone who's in my way. I'm taking them out. They need that, especially in this time. I think that for a team whose outlook is obviously not looking good for the coming season, and they'll probably be battling for the 10th position, I think that or last playing spot, someone like Dillon Brooks can help to galvanize the team in a way. I think that you need players like that, and I love that the Phoenix Suns have him. I think that he'd be sneakily good for this team. Next team we have is the Miami Heat. My Miami Heat. This team, going for Norman Powell. Norman Powell is basically in a contract here, and with that, most players in a contract here, they flip and thrive. And I think that Norman Powell, coming off a really good year, was as a legitimate 24-point scorer, someone who can really take the pressure off Bam, not Bam, but Tyler, and also allow Bam to focus more on the defensive part and just like to not worry about having to shoulder majority of the points load. I think that he can really help, especially also the young players, just providing spacing for them. He's able to, I think, give this team more of a presence, an offensive presence that they've kind of been lacking over these past few years, with no shot obviously Wiggins and what's his name, Donovan, is it Donovan Mitchell, what's his name, Davion Mitchell. Yeah, but just having someone like Norman Powell, that is, if he can hit, I think he's going to be phenomenal for this team. Okay, next team, Sacramento Kings. Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray is this team lives and dies by Keegan's threes. If Keegan is shooting threes and making them, he's good. This team is going to be really good. And I think that allows him and Zach LaVine and him bring that defensive point of attack defense and allowing him his size. I think that Keegan Murray, obviously it's been a bit of a I would say mixed, because I think that maybe it's just public perception, but Keegan's a good player, but I think that for them to really like take that next step, and obviously they have a lot of good players, but just to take that next step, I think Keegan needs to like take a bit more control and move from maybe being the 4th, 5th best player to like being, okay, I'm the 3rd best player of this team, like even 2nd best on some nights. That would be obviously the best case scenario, but I think that for this team that would really, really be so important. Next team, Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers, we have DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton averaged 14 points for the Cavs and 18 points overall across the 2 teams he played with last season. And I think that and one of the things I found is that he didn't play that much in the playoffs. And I think that was interesting because obviously it showed that he still needed that bedding in process, which I think he needed to just learn the system. Kenny Atkins' system of like offense is very intricate. A lot of ball movement, a lot of movement. And for him, I'm sure that this is him able to just like digest it more. And I think he has the ability to come in and just like take the offensive load left by Ty Jerome and just bring his obviously 3-and-D energy, but also now also take a more of a like playmaking role, ability split, and just learn more honestly under Kenny Atkinson, and maybe even gain his trust. And I think if he does that, this team's gonna thrive so well. I think because DeAndre Hunter, it's not too far back we're talking. DeAndre Hunter used to be that guy. I obviously I'm new to basketball, but I used to hear like DeAndre Hunter as like that guy, like he used to be spoken about in very high regard. So I think that he has an opportunity to just like hopefully to continue to just do better there. And then Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets, I went with Con Knueppel. Con Knueppel is someone who, for me, I view him as he can come in and just give this team a winning attitude, like someone who's going to make the right decision, someone who's going to do well in terms of someone who's going to do well and just like bring a defensive intensity, but also make the right decisions. I think that this team is very undisciplined in a lot of ways, and I think that obviously starts with LaMelo and how he plays. I think that translates to everyone else. So bringing Con Knueppel in, who is a culture setter, who can like bring back things to a kind of like just bring more discipline, making the safe pass, making the good decisions on every play. They need that. So I think him coming in, I feel like can do so well in terms of just growing this team and bringing this team to like a place where, okay, now you can allow LaMelo to like do what he does, but you still have that like the safety net of Con Knueppel alongside Brandon Miller and all of those guys. So I think I love Con Knueppel's back. I think I love his space on this team, and I think that he's going to be a day 1 starter and also day 1 contributor for this team as well. For the Dallas Mavericks, I have Max Christie. Max Christie is the X factor for this team because this team needs players who can play off ball. You already have AD, Cooper, Kyrie when he comes back, D'Lo, so you need someone who can come. You need players who can come through and just be 3-and-D players who can come in and not demand the ball, who can come in and also give you like really good upside in terms of scoring I can see Max Christie coming in and scoring like 4 threes, 5 threes on a given night. He can play who can swing games for you in the playoffs in the regular season. And I love he's just a player coaches love as well because he's always gonna play hard. So yeah, Max Christie is incredible. Next team we have the Orlando Magic. Whoa. Orlando Magic, we have Tristan da Silva. I think that Tristan da Silva is just going to be able to you already have your big three. Desmond Bain, Paolo, Franz. Good. Now it's about filling in those other pieces. Because that's where the championship, or for this team, I think getting to the conference final would be a really good place. Or the second round, honestly, which is it's a conference. Anyways, but yeah, just getting. So I think having someone like Tristan da Silva who can come in, do the dirty work, score threes, someone who can like do the cut and do all of that, just play around that core. I think these are the players who make the biggest shift. They actually shift teams towards that. So I think that him maybe coming in and just developing his game, he's still a young player, really young. He's only 23, so just growing in his role as, on this team and taking advantage of the space or the attention that is given to those three players. He can kill. This is his opportunity to shine and just do well. So yeah, Tristan da Silva is the one I got for there. Next team, Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets, I have Bruce Brown, because they both on the team now. But I have who the fuck do I have? I have Bruce Brown. And Bruce Brown, bro, if Bruce Brown can go to even like 60-70% of what he was in that 2022 finals run, this team is really scary, but it's just going to be like they are going to be even with, I think they could definitely be even with the OKC Thunder. And I think that if he can come in and just be just do what he always does, bring intensity, bring that transition scoring, being able to defend multiple positions. Bruce Brown, I think this team is his chemistry with Jokic, him, AG, Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, oh my days. And you have Tim Hardaway Jr. This team is so good. This team is so good, man. Oh man. Anyways, hopefully no injuries. This team, I can't wait to see 7 games of this in the Eastern Conference Final or second round with OKC. This team is going to be incredible. Alright, next team. We have the Washington Wizards. Ooh, my favorite team. I think after the Miami Heat, I think this is one of the teams which I really love what they're doing. I know that it's not going to be it's not really flashy, but the Washington Wizards are doing really well. Brian Keefe is someone who is, if you look at his track record, he's someone who has been in the league for a long time, and he's credited with the development for a lot of players. KD has like a famous quote of like him saying Brian Keefe taught him everything he knows or developed him into who he is. And just Brian Keefe is someone who is like a really good coach and who's going to really and with a young team like this, I think they need someone like that. I'm so glad he's their coach. For me, my X factor for this team is Trey. What's his name? Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson. He has in the G League and also coming into the league, he has that. He's shown that he has the ability to be a 3-level scorer, 4-level if you include the what do you call it, the free throw line. So I think he has the ability to be like a 1A scorer for this team, and I think that's something that this team just lacks, is someone to just build around. And yeah, obviously, and they have like really good players, Keontae George, Bob Carrington. You still have Alex Sarr, what's his name, Vukcevic. I'm missing someone. Who's that player? Damn, I forgot his name. But there's a really good player I'm missing out. But they have like a bunch of good players, and then you have the vets who are there to just like grow the players and show them like the ropes. You have what's his name, CJ and what's his other name, CJ and Chris Middleton, just there to like just grow the team a bit and just be the vets. I love what they're doing. Like, I think this team gives me a lot of OKC. Like when Chris Paul was there, they're a very young team, but they have this potential that if it's fulfilled, they could definitely in 5 years be like, oh, they're like not contenders, but I could see them being like playoffs, like solidified. Yeah. Next team we have New Orleans Pelicans. We have Trey Murphy the third. I think he's certified 20-point scorer. Someone who is always going to be. I think he can be a really good the second best player on a championship team to a potentially Zion if he ever like fulfills that potential, because I think he does have that. and I think he can just do a lot on the court. Just not just scoring, but also being a good defender, being able to just form a really cool, being able to just take that pressure away from Zion, and I think even on some nights be the number one on when Zion's not feeling it. I love Trae Young, and I love Trey Murphy, and I think that he can do a lot on this team. Next we have Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls have Matthias Buzelis. Mattis, I think it's Mattis Buzelis. Mattis Buzelis. I'm sorry. Mattis Buzelis. Mattis Buzelis is one of is a player who I think that is, I love his development so far, especially in the first season. I think he's done really well in terms of like, being a good solidified 15 point or 12 to 15 point scorer, just growing in his role. I think that the player who started the season is not the player who ended the season. He's still growing his role as a playmaker, being tasked with more of a what, being able to just stay on the court. I think that's a very underrated part when you look at Chicago Bulls draft history. I think players who are just able to play the right way, able to just give you that spark, that's something they've not had. I mean, since in a long time. So I'm glad they have this type of player, and if he continues to develop and around like really good players, if they have still, obviously the offensive load is not going to be off him, is not going to be on him, which is perfect. So I think that Mattis Buzelis is just going to be, is in a really good position to just continue growing and just expand his game actually. Yeah, so I think that's good for him. And if he achieves that, I think that this team could definitely be I would say they're already a play-in team, so I guess just being more of a solidified play-in team, I'll say. LA Clippers, I went with Bradley Beal. This team, I think that Bradley Beal in his role, where he's not going to be the star, he's not going to be the player who's going to be, it doesn't have to be the guy who's going to defend. He can literally just come in and play his game. And he has the players around him defensively. He has the players around him to take also pressure away from him, because he doesn't have to be the main focus on this team. He can come in and just do everything they need him to do. Need him to be the number one guy? Cool, I can do that. Need him to be the the three player? He can do that. Need him to be the offensive hub for a few minutes? He can be that. Literally, this is the perfect position for him, and he literally has everything. He can play around, defensive players. He can play around the offensive players. He can coast through the different rotations that Tyler will create, which I love. And I think that also does that does one is that his contract is 11 million. So literally, you are getting so much good all NBA, literally potentially a star player for like what, close maybe above a minimum deal, which is perfect. I think you take that every day. So yeah, next team, New York Knicks. I went with Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson is the perfect player for someone like Mike Brown, whose offensive philosophy is literally just to move players around, to be this to movement and passing. And I think that you have someone who can take the offensive load, who especially in a playoff environment, when literally sometimes it felt like it's Jalen Brunson or bust, which is not bad, because Jalen Brunson is an incredible player, but there's a ceiling when you only have one player who's literally viable to play to be a ball handler. So bringing Jordan Clarkson is vital for this team, and it hopefully gives another, just someone who can give Jalen Brunson a rest, someone who can just take a bit of his load away from him, and hopefully that works for them. So yeah, the next final two teams, I'm trying to do this in under 30 minutes. I hope I'm under 30. Last two teams, let's go. Utah Jazz, I just went with development. That's the X factor, just development. I don't think that, obviously you have Ace Bailey, who I think is obviously has all of the tools to be a star player, and if he like pops off, like I think he could definitely be the guy. But I think for this team, what you really want is just like all around development. You want to see players start to separate themselves from the group, not in like a bad way, but just in a way that says like, okay, these are the group of players who you want to move forward with. Maybe 3-4 who you can move forward with and be like, these guys, yeah, we started there. Because I feel like there's not enough separation. You can't have, okay, in my opinion, you can't have like questions about Keontae George or Isaiah Collier. You kind of have questions about who's another player. I have no idea. I've gone black. But you kind of have questions. Now you want to have a bit more separation in terms of like, okay, these guys are growing and they're becoming more solid. So yeah, I went with sort of development as X factor for them. And last but not least, the Indiana Pacers. Wow. Indiana Pacers. I went with Andrew Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard is going to have the keys. He's going to have the keys to the stadium. I think that this season, with Halliburton being out, literally, it's like if he is in a position to literally like grow his game. He's in a position to show to show his bag. I think everyone has that play with Shea still etched in their mind, which was incredible, and just continue building on that. I think, and one thing I love about this team as well is that it's always been built on the sum of the parts. Even though Halliburton is the star, and rightfully so, this team is very much like, we are all going to do this together. So you still have Spicy P, you still have what's my boy, you still have people like what is the guy from the thing, from the Celtics? I forgot his name, but the guy who shoots threes. I've got his name, but the guy who shoots threes. You still have people like Ben Shepherd. You still have Benedict Mathurin. You have this really cool nucleus of just players who can play, and you know that they can provide for you. They can provide you a solid amount of games. And I think J Huff, I'm sneakily excited about him at the center position. But yeah, I just love this team, and I think that they are going to dip. They don't have the same ceiling without Halliburton, but they will not drop off as much as I think that like lottery. I don't think that they're going into a lot. Maybe early, maybe late lottery. I think that's where I'll put them. But like worst case scenario. But I think that this team is still, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw them in the play-in or sixth. It's a stretch, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, yeah, that's 30 teams. Hopefully in 30 minutes. Thank you. Bye.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!